Good morning and welcome to Godly Play. Over the last few Sundays, Miss Helen and I have been telling some stories about what happened to Jesus and his disciples and other friends in the weeks after Easter. So today, I thought it might be a good idea to recap those stories, sort of give ourselves a summary or remind ourselves about those stories. And I thought it would be a good idea to do that before Pentecost, which is next Sunday. Now, you also might remember that I like to read stories out of my son Johnny's Bible, the one that has all the stickers in the front and the pages are coming out of the cover. Well, one of the things that I like about Johnny's Bible, in addition to the stories, is that it has a lot of extra information in it. And one of the extra things that it has throughout this Bible are some maps. And I like to look at maps. The reason I like to look at maps is because it helps me sort of visualize the story. I think about where the story is taking place. So one of the maps in Johnny's Bible is a map of the travels of Jesus and the disciples in the weeks after Easter. Some of my neighbors are walking by. I'm happy to see them on this bright sunny day. So I'm going to send you a copy of this map in the mail because you might be interested in looking at maps too. But for purposes of this video, I drew the map using sidewalk chalk in my driveway. I'm actually standing in front of my garage door. I'm not sure I've ever had a video standing in my driveway in front of the garage door before. So I'm going to move the camera around now. I'm going to kind of get out of the camera. I'm going to show you the sidewalk chalk map. I hope you'll be able to see it okay. And then we'll do a recap of the stories. All right? So let's get ready here. We'll give it a try. All right, I'm going to try and orient you to this map here. Such a bright day out today. I hope you can see it. All right, over here on the left side, there's some blue. It's supposed to look like waves. And that is the Mediterranean Sea. That's a big body of water. And then you'll see there's these three lines, two sort of orangey lines and one green line. And that is the coastline of what is now Israel, which is where Jesus lived during his lifetime. Now over here, this blue circle is the Sea of Galilee. Maybe you can see where I wrote S of G. That's the Sea of Galilee. And then this blue line that comes down from the Sea of Galilee is the Jordan River. I didn't put a name on that one, but it's the Jordan River. And it empties out into this other big blue circle, which is called the Dead Sea. At the top of the circle, I wrote DS. That means Dead Sea. All right, so then to the west, this will be the west of the Dead Sea, there are two towns. The one that's marked with a J is Jerusalem, and the one that's marked with an E is Emmaus. All right, so let's talk about our stories now. The first story happened right outside of Jerusalem. Let me see if I can get my pointer and I'll point to it. I found this still stuck in the dirt from where it was marking my driveway for the snowplows. Okay, right about here, outside of Jerusalem, is the tomb where Jesus was buried. And if you remember, in our first story, Jesus appeared to Mary Magdalene and some of the other women in their visit to the tomb. In the second story, two of Jesus' disciples were walking from Jerusalem to Emmaus, which is over here. Doesn't look like too long of a walk. And they met a stranger on their travels. And when they arrived in Emmaus, they all went to have something to eat together, and the two disciples realized that the stranger they had met was actually Jesus. All right. Third story took place back here in Jerusalem in the upper room of the home of one of the friends of Jesus and his disciples. And Jesus appeared to the disciples and explained to them that their job was to spread the good news that Jesus had been telling during his lifetime. This was also the story that had Thomas, who was not convinced that Jesus had really appeared before the disciples, and he wanted to see it for himself. That happened in Jerusalem. Okay, now for the next story, we're going to have to go way back up towards the Sea of Galilee. And here on the northern shore of the Sea of Galilee, Jesus appeared before his disciples who had been out fishing in their boat. And when they reached the shore of the Sea of Galilee, they all had breakfast together. This was the pancake video, if you remember that one. Okay, back down to Jerusalem. I'm going to try and figure out how far this is between Jerusalem and Emmaus, and Jerusalem and the Sea of Galilee. All right, back down to Jerusalem. And this was last week's story that took place at the Mount of Olives. These are supposed to be mountains right here. And this M of O stands for Mount of Olives. And at the Mount of Olives, in the presence of the disciples, Jesus ascended into heaven. That was last week's story that Miss Helen told. Okay, well, I hope you could see that map on my driveway. Watch your mail for a paper map that looks even better than the one I drew on my driveway. But I actually did kind of have fun this morning using the sidewalk chalk and being here outside and putting the map on my driveway. Watch your mail for the paper map that I'm going to send you. Hope you enjoy that little summary of the stories that happened with Jesus and his disciples after Easter. If you want to hear any of those stories again, remember they're out on YouTube and you can watch them anytime. And next week, is Pentecost. Pentecost is a very important day in the church calendar. If you remember, it's the only red day on the church calendar. So you might want to look through all your closets and your dresser drawers and see if you can find something red to wear for Pentecost. See if you still have the church calendar that Miss Helen sent you too, and you could get that out along with the maps while we celebrate Pentecost. Hope you have a really great day. I'm enjoying this sunshiny day. I might have to go for a walk like some of my neighbors. I see a cute little dog coming down the street. Maybe I'll go for a walk like he is. And I enjoyed being with you today, and I'll see you next week. Have a great week. Bye-bye.